What's up, everybody? It's Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy, and we're back once again. Showdown slate, this time between the Browns and the Bengals. Going to give you some NFL DFS picks and lineup advice for FanDuel and DraftKings. In this video, going to discuss some top plays, some captain and MVP options, who our model likes, and some important usage notes from Week 1 for these two teams. Before we get started, though, go ahead and click that subscribe button below. That way you get access to all of our latest videos as soon as they're released. Give us a thumbs up. If you like the video, the more thumbs ups we get, the more of these types of videos we're willing to do. So go do that for us. And if you have any questions about this slate, go ahead and comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you have any issues, concerns, lineup decisions, let us know and we'll help you out. Also, before we get started, what you see on screen here is the daily plug, occupyfantasy.com. All of the top plays, write-ups in detail, lineup strategies for this slate. Go check it out. Our Occupy model is up and running, ranking every player on FanDuel and DraftKings for this slate. And announcement, our Occupy Fantasy lineup builder, which allows you to build up to 150 lineups using the Occupy model, or 1 to 3 lineups using my optimal lineup criteria, is free again for Occupy Fantasy members for week 2. Starting week 3, there will be an additional upgrade charge for the lineup builder, but again, if you're looking to try it out, we're doing it for free one more week for Occupy Fantasy members. occupyfantasy.com/lineup builder is where you can learn more. So, Nick Chubb on screen here, maybe a little precursor to what we're going to talk about for this slate. And let's bring up DraftKings. And let's talk about some lineup decisions. Now, if you were with us on Monday night, we talked about the Pittsburgh and the Giants game and how difficult that was for low-risk contests, your 50-50s, your double-ups, your head-to-heads, those contests that pay off 40 to 50% of the field. In these types of contests, as we talk about in our Showdown guide, you really want to try to get all of the scoring in the game. So 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs. The one slight issue with this game is the split backfield in Cleveland. If we only roster one of Cleveland's running backs, we may not lock up all the touchdowns in the game. Let's say we put in Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt scores a touchdown. That kind of excludes all the touchdowns for us. But in general, we can still lock up the scoring. And tonight, it actually is really easy to get both quarterbacks and 2 running backs into our lineup. So let's just say, for instance, if we wanted Burrow, Mayfield, Mixon, Chubb, that's $3,700 left per player. The defenses are generally in that $3,000 to $5,000 range. And we see Browns and Bengals are both 4K or less. The kickers are 4,200 or less. Very possible. Now, we may not be able to do this with Joe Burrow at captain, but we could switch up our captains, get these 4 guys, or even maybe you do this. If you truly want to lock up all the scoring, now we have the 2 running backs who we're going to see most of the time, Joe Mixon, Mayfield, and Chubb, and a $5,400 captain. Something to keep in mind, too. Now, on FanDuel, it's not necessarily as easy. We definitely want a quarterback and captain on FanDuel. If we try to put in Nick Chubb and Joe Mixon, that only leaves us $4,000 left per player. So, in order to fit this in, we likely have to drop from Chubb down to Kareem Hunt, who's $9,500. That's a big $4,000 price savings. That would certainly help. Or, not necessarily recommended, Joe Burrow, the underdog quarterback, we could exclude him and go with a different approach. So it's not as easy on FanDuel. You do have to make some decisions. But again, it is possible to fit in 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs on FanDuel tonight. Very easy on DraftKings. So it should be a very good low-risk night. Go look in the lobby, find some soft contests to play, and get these guys into your lineups. Now, for high-risk contests, that's where the fun is. Now, a couple points that we want to make here before we conclude this video. One is AJ Green and Odell Beckham. If you're with us at any point at all last season, we talked about underperforming wide receivers. These are receivers who have seen the opportunity, whether it's tons of targets, tons of air yards, and for whatever reason, they're not catching those passes. They're not securing all the yards. They're not scoring touchdowns. These guys, these underperforming receivers, generally crush at some point in the coming weeks. Now, I won $100K on FanDuel last year using underperforming receivers. My $250,000 runner-up finish at the World Fantasy Football Classic, or World Fantasy Football Championship, had 3 or 4 underperforming receivers in the one lineup. So while 1 week of data doesn't make an entire season, we can't draw definitive conclusions. Both Odell Beckham and AJ Green had over 120 air yards last week. AJ Green only only tallied 51 receiving yards. Odell Beckham only 22 receiving yards. So again, not definitive that they're going to crush tonight, but it was encouraging to see their opportunity. So in DraftKings, guys like AJ Green and Odell Beckham do have really high ceilings to be your high-risk captain. Whether it's AJ Green at 13.5, Odell Beckham at 12.3. Now again, it's 2020. People are pretty hip to air yards and opportunity now. Maybe not the average casual player, but if you subscribe to any site, you probably know about this by now. So Odell Beckham and AJ Green won't go completely overlooked at the captain spot. It's not like we're going to get them at 3% captain ownership in high-risk contests. We won't. But again, they do make for very interesting choices as long as we make differentiated lineups around them. The other key to this slate is, as we talked about earlier, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So let's just put them both in this lineup together. So Chubb, only 11 touches last week in a blowout. Kareem Hunt, 17 touches in the blowout last week. And it was a trailing game script. Cleveland was trailing most of the game. They used Hunt more often. But when the game was within 10 points, shout out to Pro Football Focus for tweeting this stat, Chubb played 70% of the snaps while the game was in hand. And now they're 6-point, 7-point favorites tonight. So it should be a Chubb game script. He should be in line for close to 20 touches, multiple touchdown opportunities. And in low-scoring games, this game total is projected for 43 points. We generally want to look to running backs as our captain and MVPs in low-risk contests. So whether it's Hunt or Chubb, depending on the type of game script you project, whether it's Joe Mixon, who should go overlooked as the underdog running back, and after a poor week 1 performance in the box scores, these 3 guys probably should make up the majority of your captain and MVP allocation if you're playing tournaments, high-risk contests. If you're making just one lineup, you probably want to choose one of those 3. The same thing goes on FanDuel, right? In a low-scoring game, 2 underwhelming quarterback options in Mayfield and Burrow, very easy that Chubb, Mixon, or Hunt could be the highest-scoring player on the slate, which is what we need on FanDuel. So consider those guys heavily there as well. All right, that'll do it for this video. Hope we took some notes, took away some good information, got some lineup strategies to implement. If you want more details, information on every single player on the slate, my opinion and what our model thinks, go to the Daily Plug, occupyfantasy.com, the Thursday edition. Get full lineup strategies there. And again, if you're looking to build multiple lineups tonight, Occupy Fantasy members get access to our Occupy Fantasy lineup builder for 1 more week for free. So go check it out, occupyfantasy.com/lineup builder. All right. One more favor before we get out of here. Click that subscribe button. Get notified of our videos. Thumbs up if you want more of these videos. And any questions you have, hit the comments below. Brian Jester, Occupy Fantasy. Appreciate you listening. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk to you soon.